I am in China since 1 week now, and I've seen Beijing and Shanghai so far. And what I've seen is not at all what I had expected before coming here. The media in Western countries says a lot of things about China. Most of them are negative things. I'm not going to say it's a lie, but it's just not what I have seen so far here in China. In today's video, I will walk you through my personal opinion of China so far. This is my personal opinion. It is not a local point of view, but rather a touristic point of view, of course. I did talk to some locals, so I'm going to give you some insight of what they've told me in this video. But in general, these are my personal opinions and impressions. When I arrived in Beijing, I expected to find a city that is super polluted, overcrowded, and extremely noisy. But the exact opposite happened. Beijing had a perfect air quality, a clear blue sky. It was at very touristic places super crowded, but that's it. And it wasn't noisy at all. And the same thing happened here in Shanghai, although I feel like Shanghai is a little bit more noisy than Beijing. But still, it's not super noisy as Barcelona, for example, where I live. And the air quality as well is absolutely perfect according to my phone. That's basically non-existing in Barcelona. And that is partially because people here like to take the public transportation. And a lot of cars here are electric, which also contributes to less noise and less pollution in the city in general. And the motos, that is absolutely amazing. In Asian cities, they are always quite well known for the noise that the motorbikes are making and the pollution as well. But here in China, all of these motos are electric, meaning no noise, no pollution. People here like to take their bikes or motos basically everywhere. And let me show you one thing that I have never seen anywhere before. You can see some motos here. And as you see, they have these things to cover their hands and to protect them from the cold. Because right now we are here in winter and it is freezing. But with this wind shield, I guess they won't feel anything. This is amazing and allows people to take their bikes and motos everywhere all year round. One of the biggest prejudices against China is probably the censorship. And again, I am not a local, I am telling you the point of view of a tourist, so this is not the local opinion here. I won't be able to tell you a lot about the censorship because I'm really not experiencing it at all. I use an eSIM with a VPN included, and therefore I can live my life as always. I don't notice censorship. What I do notice though is that there are a lot of cameras everywhere. That is actually true. It will be easy to know what exactly you are doing here in China. You can see that behind me, for example, and there are literally every 10 meters cameras here. Besides the cameras, they also scan your face when you enter the metro. They scan your face when you enter, for example, public buildings or tourist attractions. And you need your passport for a lot of things. For example, if you take a long distance train, you have to scan your passport. So yes, if you misbehave, chances are high that the government will know where exactly to find you. But let's face it, most of our lives are more or less average and not that spectacular. I feel like the cameras also add up to the overall safety because, for example, when I arrived here in Shanghai yesterday, I saw someone leaving their luggage in front of a public bathroom at the central station of Shanghai. Do that in Barcelona and your bags will be gone within 3 seconds. But here, nothing happened at all. Maybe we shouldn't just judge all the cameras. Maybe there's also an advantage in it. Let me come back to the prejudice of the pollution here in China. China is often associated to contribute a lot to the pollution of our Earth. But the fact is that there are lots of other countries that contribute similarly or even worse in some cases. Let me show you this. We are currently at 10 a.m. on a Monday morning at one of the main streets here in the city center of Shanghai. There is not that much traffic. There is not that much noise, especially. Nobody is honking all the time. And a lot of cars here are electric and therefore no much noise. But besides the electric cars, the public transportation that is mostly used by the people and all the bikes that people love to use to get from one side of the city to another, there is also a lot of things that the country itself does to protect our planet. For example, in Beijing, there was a hotel owner that told me they have invested a lot in renewable energy. Before, the heating system came from gas, for example, and nowadays it comes all from electricity. They use air conditions that can also heat up the rooms, and the electricity comes from renewable energy, which is way better for the environment, obviously. And that is only one example. The hotel owner also told me that factories are only allowed to produce if they have some kind of machine that cleans the air or if they use renewable energy. I didn't understand it 100%, but it is true apparently that the factories here have to do something to protect this planet. Probably there are still a lot of things that China can improve as well. But I feel like China is doing way more than other countries. For example, in Germany, every single year we realize we didn't hit our goal to protect the environment again. And don't even get me started about the United States that have just voted for a president that doesn't even believe in climate change. The next prejudice is that Chinese products are of low quality. And even though this may be true if you buy cheap products on Amazon, it definitely doesn't account for all Chinese products. We just entered Huawei and I'm blown away by what I just seen. For example, they don't only have phones there, they also have cars. And these cars drive autonomously. They have sensors on their decks and on their doors so that you don't need to do much as a driver. Besides that, in those cars you will find a cinema for the children, which is insane. The sound is incredible. It's a hybrid car, so you do need to put in some gasoline, but these cars can take you up to 1,400 kilometers with only one tank. So they don't use that much due to the hybrid model. Besides that, you have huge screens in the cars, which are more like a whole computer. You can do so many things with them. There is artificial intelligence in there. You can talk to the car and it'll talk back. It'll open the windows for you. It'll play music for you and so on and so forth. And what is even more incredible is that this car has a value of $40,000 up to $70,000, the ones that we've just seen. It always depends on the level of things you want to include in the car and the size of the car as well, of course. But this is insane. This is such a good price for what you get there. And then there were the phones, and these phones, they can do magic. It's insane. And let's face it, my iPhone needs a new battery every few months, basically. Besides that, China in general is a super digitalized country. For example, you need your phone for almost everything. Here in China, they don't use WhatsApp, they use WeChat to communicate. It's basically the same, but so much more advanced, and they have it since many years. But about 2 or 3 years ago, they implemented a feature with which you can pay with that app. So nowadays they use WeChat for communication, for translation of communications. They use it to pay mostly and to use the public transport system as well. What really surprised me is that they introduced these features of paying with it only 2 to 3 years ago, and nowadays you don't see cash in this country anymore. I don't have cash here. I always pay with my phone. This is something that in Germany, for example, would never be happening. I'm from Germany, and Germany is one of the least digitalized countries of Europe, and people there, they just only believe in cash. They want to pay with cash, and they have such a closed mindset with everything that is new and digital. And here in China, they just accept it because it was an app that everybody used anyway, that was just further developed, and people liked it and saw the value of it, and they adapted so quickly. It's now time for us to pack our things and leave Shanghai, and I'm going to take you on a night train experience here in China. Actually, the high-speed trains here in China are quite famous because they are some of the fastest in the world. And also, the train stations here are super impressive, which is why I want to show you this experience and take you with me on that train. By the way, if you need a travel companion, I can highly recommend Bellroy as a brand that produces travel backpacks and everyday backpacks of high quality that are not only easy to use, they are lightweight, and they have a perfect organization system.
You will find space for your clothes and small pockets for electronics, your tablet, and a secret spot for your passport. And of course, your laptop will fit in as well. The best is that it has the size of hand luggage. Trust me, you will fit a lot in there without having to pay extra for checked-in luggage.
I never traveled so comfortably and well organized as today. So if you're interested in that, make sure to check out their webpage. I will also leave you a link in the description below. The train stations in general are so well organized. I've never seen anything like that. Traveling has never been easier than here in China. For example, you can see over there where you need to go, where your train will leave. And for us, it's 6A and B. We will take a night train today. and we will travel more than 1,400 kilometers from here. As you can see over there is a huge waiting area where people are waiting for their check-in. At this station there can be up to 10,000 people in here trying to find their trains. And yet you will never see anybody running or rushing towards their train. It is so well organized and super easy to find your gate. It's not like in Europe where everything is tiny and packed and you need to make your way through all of the people or need to find your gate and people are hectic and so on. It's not at all like that. It is so well organized. I've never seen anything like that.
The next thing I want to clarify is the prejudice of Chinese people being rude. Honestly, I believe that every country has its traditions, its culture, its way to talk, and also some habits that are always different from your home country. So you have to understand that Chinese people may do things that we consider as rude, but we also do things that they would consider as rude. So I don't think this is something in general that we can say. For example, what I have noticed a lot was that people don't wait for you to enter a train. If you want to get on the metro, people will just enter the metro before you were able to get out of it. In Germany, we do the same, but in Spain, for example, people line up. It is crazy how organized they are there. So there are a few things you need to know. You need to fight when getting on a train. But these are simply habits that you will easily get used to. Besides that, I heard a lot of people say that they don't want to go to China because they don't want people to constantly take pictures of them. And honestly, I also had this prejudice because when we see Chinese people travel around, they always take random pictures of everything and everyone, basically. But here in China, there was one family so far that has asked me in a very kind way for a picture with me. And that was actually super cute and not rude at all. And besides that, there were people who took pictures of me filming myself, but I think that's also just okay. I mean, people are curious. It looks a bit strange what I'm doing there, I guess. So it's nothing I considered as rude or as uncomfortable or something like that. But there's one prejudice that I can definitely confirm, and that is the language barrier. It definitely does exist. It is super hard to communicate here, and sometimes I feel like I wish I could talk more to local people. This language barrier can be easily escaped by using a translator. People here are extremely friendly. They smile a lot. They take their time to try to understand you and to try to help you. Whenever you take out your translator, they will try to communicate with you via that. And they're also used to that. They also do this automatically and so on. So with hand signs and a translator, you will get along here. So don't get me wrong, with this video I'm not trying to say that China is the perfect country. It definitely isn't. I think that the biggest problem is that we simply don't know a lot about China in Western countries, and of course it's easier to simply judge about a country than to really get to know it. And of course I am aware that so far I've been to Beijing and Shanghai, which are super developed countries, and I am sure that I will also see a different side of China once I get to the countryside. But in general, no country on earth is perfect. All countries have their ups and their downs. I just want you to be aware that China is not exactly what they say in the media, or at least it's not all of China that you can see in the media. I believe it's important to get your own opinion about a country and to get to know it from your own personal point of view. I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comment section below what you think so far of China and if this is a country you are curious about. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel because I will take you along the countryside now and you will get to see a different side of China as well. So I will hopefully see you in next week's video.